So today we're going to talk about the August 7th Pokemon trailer that came out. It had content like the new rivals, Team Yell, we got new Galarian forms, a new evolution for Linoon. Pretty awesome stuff. So I got my buddy Kenyatta here. We're going to talk about that. Say hello, Kenyatta.
Hello, Kenyatta.
Great. It's exactly what I was waiting for. So, yeah, let's just jump right into it. Ken, you wanted to talk about Galarian Weezing. So, impressions, ideas, opinions, compatibility with the competitive scene. What do you got?
First off, Pokemon, thank you for a poison fairy type.
Yes.
And thank you for making Weezing relevant again, because that was one of my favorite Pokemon of Gen 1. Not gonna lie, having the ability to both be a poison type and have access to Fire Blast was pretty rare all across the board.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome that Weezing is going to make a comeback essentially and be very relevant, I suppose. And yeah, I'm pretty cool with that. Like, that's awesome. I was waiting for a poison fairy type as well, and I'm glad we finally got one.
Yeah. I can see the benefits of adding the fairy typing because it gives it, first off, a quadruple resistance to bug. Not that it matters, but you know, it can resist a U-turn, and Weezing is mostly used as a physical wall.
So, we also got, like I was saying before, Linoon now evolves. Well, first of all, let's start with Zigzagoon. Linoon have Galarian forms now, so that's interesting. It's pretty cool. And like I was saying, Linoon evolves into Obstagoon, and the whole line is Dark Normal. What are your thoughts about that? How are you feeling?
I personally wish that it wasn't Normal Dark because it feels like a rehash of Rattata and Raticate, and I get it, you know, dark types are supposed to go with the opposing team, but they're not. They don't even seem like evil people. They're just sort of there. So, you know, fine. But I do appreciate the potential of Obstagoon because of its new attack that it's gonna get, which is Obstruct. That's what it is.
Yeah.
It's Obstruct. Now I see this as something similar to a taunt with a counter. So it seems like, you know, it's gonna throw out a taunt with priority. So if the opponent is using a non-attacking move, then the opponent simply won't attack that turn. But if they are using an attacking move, then Obstagoon attacks them first, almost like a sucker punch. That's how I see Obstruct working.
Okay. Yeah, so it seems like it's gonna have a decent amount of potential when it comes to, you know, just battles in general, maybe even competitive as well.
And the way it's built, it looks like it's gonna have similar stats to a Pangoro. I think that even though it has a defensive style on its own, the fact that it's been given the abilities Reckless and
Guts
sets it up to be offensive. So I think Obstagoon being so balanced might hurt it, especially given that Normal Dark isn't very effective against a lot of things. But at least, you know, Dark is neutral against Steel, so that's, you know, take the good with the bad. Yeah.
Right? Yeah, something to go with, I suppose. What I wanted to talk about is the potential of other Galarian forms of Pokemon. So of course I have to just, you know, it's obligatory by now. I gotta bring up Spinda. I'm hoping we get a Galarian form for Spinda, or an evolution in some kind of way. What I was thinking about not too long ago was, what if Spinda got, like, instead of being a normal type, it became a straight psychic type as a Galarian form. And this form was like, it was more focused and not teetering all over the place like the Hoenn region's version of it.
Wonder.
Yeah, I think that would be kind of cool. I'd like to see that, or maybe just, and if not that, like I was saying, if not a Galarian form, give it an evolution. I just want it to look, like I want it to look cool if it gets one, and honestly, now that I think about it, I don't care. Just give it an evolution. That's all I really want.
I think. Oh.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I think it would get a speed boost in its Galarian form, especially if it gained focus, because Spinda, its main thing is being disoriented. So if it gains focus, it gains its footing. And then, as far as typing goes, I personally wouldn't mind it staying a normal type. I feel like being a monotype normal is not as bad as it seems.
Right.
And I don't know. I would like it that way. But a normal psychic type would be interesting as well. And we've already seen one in the form of a Rangaroo, but we haven't seen one with speed investment.
Right. Yeah, that'd be interesting. Like honestly, the type change doesn't necessarily have to happen for me to be, happy with the Galarian form of it. I just want Spinda to get more love.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree with that. Having a psychic normal type would be interesting since, we don't have too many of those.
Or, this is crazy, but a normal ghost type, because once it stops spinning, it actually phases out of existence.
I like that. I really like that idea. And
it gains Shadow Force. Sorry, go ahead.
Pokemon, these are the ideas. Please work with them. So another thing. Okay, so lastly, to finish up the Galarian form of Pokemon, what if this is another Pokemon that, even though it's not my favorite, I would still like to see it get some love? Dunsparce.
Heck yeah, Dunsparce.
Imagine a Galarian Dunsparce, it gets a full evolutionary line, so a second stage and a third stage. And I don't know, it becomes some psychic dragon or something, or
oh gosh, psychic dragon.
That.
See, how many psychic dragons are there? Because I know there's. Oh, how many psychic dragons are there?
Are there any? I actually don't remember.
Wow.
Because we have normal dragon.
Yeah, we have a normal dragon in the form of Dranpa, and it seemed like, if anything, the way that it had its white tufts, it seemed reminiscent of Dunsparce's mediocre wings. So I wouldn't have minded, in Galar they just say, guess what? We can now introduce the missing link between Dunsparce and Dranpa, and it's Dunpa. I don't know.
Dunpa. I'm all about it. So let's talk about more Peko, because that's another Pokemon that we need to address. It's new, completely new, and it has this weird thing where it can change form based on if it's hungry or not. So, interesting. That's the first time we've had a Pokemon that can change form based on its ability. And Ken, I know you're interested in that fact, so feel free, have at it. Let's hear what you got to say.
Alright, so way back in 1999, no, I'm kidding. But when they introduced cast form, I thought, that's a cool Pokemon, when the weather changes, so does it. And then they brought about, I'm gonna skip a few generations, they brought about Aegislash, whose attack allowed it to form change. And now we have a pure ability form changing, and I think that it's going to be like Moody, where it just changes every turn. But the difference is, I think that it needs to be holding a berry, or alright, because even though there's a leftover apple and leftovers, I don't think leftovers is good enough to keep it from getting hungry. So I would say that, it seems like the ability is going to be if it goes a turn without eating a berry, or even having a berry, because I think it's going to be like Gluttony in that it eats the berry early. But not just early as in meeting the minimal of the condition. I mean early as in even if there's no condition to be.
Like it just eats it right then
Yeah,
and there.
yeah. It's like at the end of the turn, it'll eat a raspberry it's holding, and then it's like, all right, now I'm not hungry this turn. I can still be electric, and then and then it does, and then you don't recycle, so then it's like, oh, now you messed up.
You done goofed. But I'm thinking like, okay, in your scenario, in your theory, it has, like when it eats the berry, it loses it. It's done. It's gone, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so what about, like, what if the ability itself it essentially only gnaws on that berry? Like, it keeps that berry for the battle, but while it doesn't consume the berry, it doesn't get, like, the full effect of the berry. Like, the only purpose it would serve is for the hunger change thing.
Yeah. That's why I brought up the raspberry, because it cures burns.
Right.
But regardless of whether it's burned, it's still gonna eat the berry.
Exactly.
In my example anyway. And because recycle exists, I can only say I feel like Morpeko's going to get recycle, or a guaranteed version of that move.
Okay. Instead of it being like a part of the ability, you just imagine it's going to have that move
available
as it levels up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cause it's like how you can make Aegislash lose its shield, King Shield. There we go. You can have Aegislash lose its King Shield as a move slot, but it doesn't stop being Aegislash.
Right.
So same will apply to Morpeko. You know, you eat the berry once and it's permanently hangry. Yeah. I do wonder if it turns back after going back in its Pokeball though, or if it's for the duration of the battle.
That's interesting, because that'll definitely change things up.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I guess we'll just have to wait and see what happens with that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So another thing I wanted to talk about. Another thing is the new rivals we got. We got Bede, we got Marnie, and like I just want to start out saying like it seems like Bede might be that rival, the jerk rival that everyone's been waiting for, everyone's been crying for. And if so, that'll be cool. It'll be interesting, because I honestly think Marnie is going to be like the antithesis of that. Like, she just seems kind of chill, laid back. She might even help out the player a bit. So I am completely down with having Bede be like a jerky rival, and I hope that is the case. Yeah. But what do you think about him? Like, what are your impressions?
I think he's guaranteed to be the jerk rival. Yeah. I mean, he's not going to come close to being similar to Paul, but I would hope that he's similar to Paul. But, you know, Paul had that seriousness that you can't really...
Paul was Gen 2, right?
No, Paul was Gen 4, but only in the anime. Like, he was an anime...
that's right. Yeah, that's right. My bad.
So, alright, on a non-serious note, Bede just looks like the dark version of Justin. Now, that was the Gen 4 rival, that friendly... No, his name wasn't Justin, it was Barry.
That's right, Barry.
Yes, Barry. He looks like Barry has, you know, gotten really salty about his defeats, and he's like, I'm gonna reincarnate into Gen 8, and I'm gonna be all serious this time. You will not beat my Empoleon! Empoleon is confirmed for Gen 8, just saying.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be interesting to see how he progresses as a character. So with Bede, I think that there's a chance he might not just be a jerk, but be a villain too, potentially, because of his association with Chairman Rose and a bit of context, I should say. I think Chairman Rose might be a bad guy, just maybe. Like I don't know. Well, honestly, none of us do. But I think it might be the case where like the Pokemon Association in the region is kind of like corrupt, and they're not doing things the right way. And just Chairman Rose is using Bede as like an extension of that to keep the corruption going. So I think that might take place, just maybe. Well, what do you thinking?
I see Chairman Rose as an antagonist because of the mustache. I mean, come on, how do you not look at the mustache and go, Viren? But
He is well coiffed.
I mean, how could you not expect him to be a villain? But I think it's gonna be an interesting version of a villain, especially if Pokemon gets meta on itself, because he seems like a businessman. So what if he's treating Pokemon like the battling Pokemon League in general is like business to him, and Bead is the in of this generation, where he's like, yeah, I'm in Pokemon to be famous, and all this vain glorious behavior is gonna come out of Bead, and it's empowered by Chairman Rose, and Chairman Rose is like, you know, I wanted the champion to be like this, but he wouldn't. But you know, talk about villain, I'm pretty sure the champion is the antagonist, and Hop is an antagonist. And I'm pretty sure Leon wanted Hop to follow in his footsteps with his partner Chairman Rose over here, but then Hop was like, no, I want to be a good guy, Pokemon are our friends. And then Chairman Rose said we need a new face. How I offer you Bead. How does he look?
We must rebrand our evil. Honestly, I don't think Hop's gonna be... I believe in him. I have faith in him. He's a good boy. He's a good boy. I think he'll be more of a help than a hindrance in the game. But who knows? Pokemon does like to throw us for a loop every once in a while, so we'll just have to see what happens. But yeah, we briefly discussed Marnie as we were talking about Bead. I think she's gonna be interesting as a character as well, just to see how she interacts with the player, along with, you know, how Team Yell interacts with the player, and it should be an interesting dynamic.
Alright, so Loxton and Noggin actually brought up a good point about Team Yell being representative of a toxic fan base, the sort of toxic entitled fan base. And since they're following Marnie around, who doesn't seem to notice them at all, much less encourage them to be that way, I think that, well, that Marnie is going to be relatively friendly. If not, she's going to be so nonchalant that she's not even going to care about you. She's just going to be like, oh, there's someone I can battle, or oh, get out of my way otherwise. But I think she's going to be that nonchalant and yet that intense about Pokemon.
I think you brought this up, Ken. Like, you had said at one point that you think she might, like, even convince Team Yell to, like, be less toxic.
Yes. I honestly believe that, you know, with Team Yell being so similar to Team Skull, that, you know, Guzma at the end of the day, he wasn't that terrible. He's still a lovable idiot. And and with Team Yell, I think that Marnie's finally gonna say, guys, enough. Stop it with the toxicity. Like, you guys do not have any more right to be my fans than, you know, anybody else who's not being as bothersome as you guys. And then it's gonna open their eyes to how terrible they've been being to her opponents. And she's gonna help the main characters pretty much put a stop to the chairman and champion's plans.
I honestly would really love to see that happen in the game, and especially based off of what you had said just now about Team Yell being pretty similar to Team Skull, in the same way that they're both pretty goofy teams. They're not super evil like Team Rocket or anything. They're not trying to, you know, sink the world like Team Aqua. So yeah, I think that is a possibility, in all honesty, and I would love to see more of Team Yell, and I think there's going to be a lot of funny moments with them, just like how Team Skull had their interesting, quirky moments. Team Yell's probably going to do the same thing. But I think that's going to end it here for our discussion. We talked for a bit about Pokemon and everything in that last trailer that came out. So, any final thoughts, Ken?
I'm interested to see where this goes.
All right, same here. I agree with that. For the people listening, the viewers, Where can people find you if they can find you?
Nowhere. But my gamer tag is Patchlock. PATCHLOCKE.
Yeah. And for me, you can find me on Twitter or YouTube, DJ Raviesta. And yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Thanks for listening to this episode of The Crew. Tune in next time. Catch you later.